right. All right, here we go. Here we go. On a Wednesday night. On a Wednesday night. How's everybody doing out there? How's everybody doing out there? We're gonna have to get off into this. Let a few more people come in the room. Hopefully, YouTube inform people that we live. Hopefully, sharing the cast with everybody. I was trying to play a little bit of music before we get. I had to weigh in on this. I had to come in and weigh in on this while the topic is hot. And this guy who made this statement, um, you know, I heard of this guy Shaboozey, um, a day or two ago, and I heard the controversial comment he made concerning immigrants building America. But before I go into this, and I'm not trusted, and I'm not share this message. Shaboozey is a Nigerian country music, a Nigerian country music artist who was put on by Beyonce. By the way, he was put on by Beyonce, and he won an award at one of these shows. I think it was the Grammys or one of these shows. I'm not too sure, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It was one of these music shows, and he made a statement, right? And I've been hearing a lot of these people coming out because I never heard his music before. I'm not a fan of country music as it is now, even though it is a genre that was created by first Americans, so-called black people, first indigenous Americans, even though it was created by first indigenous Americans, bronze, copper-colored people, even though it was created by us, you still got people who took it like they always do. Caucasians, took it and, started copying our sound. The guy who, one of the fathers of country, the so-called fathers of country music, because, they always make themselves the progenitors of things they're not. One of the so-called fathers of country music, a white guy by the name of Jimmy Rogers, he said that he got the country sound from black railroad workers, from Negro railroad or colored railroad workers. In other words, he was copying their songs and copying what they were singing. He worked on the railroad, Jimmy Rogers, and he copied from the black, so-called black Southern men who were singing work songs, railroad songs. Because keep in mind, so-called black men, they were working on the railroads, even after slavery and during slavery. And when they were in slavery to the railroad companies, they were working on the railroads and they would sing their songs. Okay. They would sing their songs and, you had Caucasians like him hanging around. They would teach them how to play, the banjo, because the banjo is a American indigenous instrument. It's not an African instrument. It's an American indigenous instrument. Because again, how did the banjo, if they brought Africans over here, they brought banjos with them, and Caucasian people didn't make no banjo. Listen to the word banjo. That sounds like an indigenous word, right? And the first people they saw playing the banjo going back was bronze people, indigenous people on the plantations. They were playing the banjo. And then, of course, Caucasians picked it up. Same way they picked up our music. And next thing you know, you start believing that country music was created by white people. You see, you start believing country music was created by white people, and you forget about the black people, the indigenous black people, not Africans, indigenous first Americans, the real indigenous people of this land, so-called black Americans. You start hearing our music being redone. You hear our music being redone. And as they are redoing our music, they are erasing us from the culture of country music. Okay. When Beyonce came out and started doing country music, well, we go back, got Charlie Pride. Charlie Pride was doing country music, and he sold a lot of records. And you had these racist Caucasian people, these Texans, these country white people listening to his music. But again, the music comes from our people. Jimmy Rogers said so. There's a family, I forget what their name is. They also said, I forget what their name is. They the oh man, I can't the Connors. I forget what their name is. It's a country family, a white family, a country music people who they also known as founders of country music. They bragged about learning country music from black people, being taught how to play banjo. Because keep in mind, they would come around places where, you know, we had our own towns and what they call colored towns and our sections, and we would have, of course, our little juke joints and things where we get together and play instruments and party and whatnot. Somebody might have an old piano they drug in there. We'd be drinking liquor and corn liquor and whatnot, people playing music and things like that. That's how your blues, your ragtime, your country music, we was playing that kind of music in our juke joints. And what happened is Caucasians would come around because, see, we didn't, black people didn't discriminate against them. Not that they had the right to, because we said we didn't want no white people in our area, the police would come and tear your town down. But it was okay for them to discriminate and say they didn't want you in their areas. But you couldn't say that. So, you know, they would come into our areas, come to our places, listen to our music, get friendly with the musicians, and then copy our stuff. Like this thing, I'm going to do something on my realist channel about the movie Respect, that was supposed to be a biopic of Aretha Franklin, right? Jennifer Hudson played that. Marlon Wayans was in there. But in the movie, there was a few things I noticed, I'm going to point out. But, you know, it's something along the lines of with the music thing. And those Shoals guys down there, Alabama Shoals or wherever they was at, went down there and thought they wanted to get some white boys to play soul music. But that's another story, see? But we're going to get into that another time. So country music, nobody disputes this. Country music came from black people, okay? It came from black Americans, indigenous black Americans, black American men playing the banjo and guitars and things like that while working on the railroads. And white people copied it, took it over, just like the term cowboy. Cowboy came from Caucasians being disrespectful to black indigenous men who were working with cows. They call us boys. So, you know, we would work with the cows, so they call us cowboys. You know, that's what they call us, cowboys. They were called cattle men. They, you know, of course, they always want to, they the cattle men, we the cowboys. They the cattle men, we the cowboys. But then after a while, cowboy got cool. Bronze men made it cool to be a cowboy. We made it cool. Then all of a sudden they want to be cowboys, right? Then they forget about the history of the cowboy. Then all of a sudden it's cool to be a cowboy. They do that with all of our stuff. They take our music. First they start off dissing the music. Then they turn around and they see that it's popular and it's appeal to it. It got swag to it. And next thing you know, they want to be the cowboys. They never called themselves cowboys. That was more of a modern thing these Caucasians did, especially in Texas. They referred to themselves as cattlemen because they always wanted to make sure that it be known that they consider themselves the real men, and the so-called black men are boys. So they went out of their way to condescend to black American men. Why? Because we the indigenous men of this country. We are the only real Americans here. And you know, when you have that immigrant insecurity, like these Caucasians did, they had their immigrant insecurity ever since they came into this land amongst us as the American indigenous people. Ever since they came to us as when we was the American Indians in this country, when they came here, they started trying to erase us, take hold of our lands and things like that. Again, erase our culture and try to put them in our place, put themselves in our places. So when you see the American cowboy, they talking about, that's us. We the original American cowboys. When you hear about the American Indians, that's us. We the original first American Indians. The other people that came are Native Americans. They're not indigenous to this land. We are the only real indigenous people of this land. And thus, being that we are indigenous, so-called black Americans, I'm doing so-called because I don't like the term black, but for this purpose, I got to use it. We as indigenous, so-called black Americans, we built this country. We built the infrastructure of this country. There would be no United States of America if our people didn't build it, whether we did it in bondage whether we did it as indentured servants or whatever, worked off, whatever, we were working and building. There was no workforce here. There were no immigrants here other than your Europeans. They didn't want to do no real work. First thing they tried to do when they got here was enslave the indigenous people because they couldn't build no infrastructures on their own. They didn't start having any real success in their settlements in America until 1619 in Jamestown, Virginia, when they brought kidnapped indigenous black men, not no Africans, indigenous Negroes or indigenous American Negroes, who they reclassified us from American indigenous or American Indian to Negroes. They started enslaving us. That's when they started to produce. Because keep in mind, we created the economy here, and we also built the infrastructure here because we were in bondage. That was a lot of our people were in bondage, so that meant free labor. You can't build nothing without money. You can't build nothing without an economy, right? So who started the economy here? It wasn't white people. White people didn't start no economy here. They didn't. They used our enforced slave labor to produce food, to produce material, cotton, right? And again, they want to minimalize what we did in America, right? They want to minimalize what we did in America, so-called Black Americans, because they're trying to erase us as a people. The government has been trying to erase us down to these immigrants like this clown Shaboozey, who comes from Nigeria, gets put on by Beyonce, gets put on in the country music. She had to go through a whole lot of hell, a whole lot of racism from these racist ass crackers who want to come up here talking about, oh, what's she doing? Country music, like that clown that used to be on the boots, the Dukes of Hazzard. What's his name? John Schneider. You know, this cracker gonna talk about oh, she messing up the genre doing country music. Fool. Black people started country music. Fool. You see, they sit up here, they don't know the history. Our people started country music. All the popular musics of this world come from our people in the world, throughout the world, not just in the United States, throughout the world. Jazz, which they now trying to say these racist Caucasians who like jazz now all of a sudden, well, they always liked it. At first they didn't know. Well, let me take that back. At first they didn't like jazz. Then as jazz got popular throughout the world, all of a sudden jazz is not black music. Jazz is not black music. So-called black music. It's not so-called black music no more. Now it's international music. It's American music. I agree. It is American music because black people are only real Americans. You're not saying nothing slick because when they say American music, they want you to think white people. That's what they mean. Okay. But the true American music comes from our people, the real Americans. Okay. So you got this guy who gets up on stage and makes a speech about this country being built by immigrants. But let me go back to the music first before I get off into that. Blues, ragtime, jazz, country, rock and roll, soul, R&B, hip hop. All our music, and genres, and I'm gonna even say reggae because reggae is inspired by Black American music. Reggae music inspired. You ask any reggae artists, Bob Marley and all them, they'll tell you they was inspired by Black American artists. Okay, they was playing our music. Then they developed their own flavor. But again, Black Americans created all the popular music on earth, all of it. And it's even said that classical music comes from so-called Black people. I'm gonna leave that there, even to Beethoven and all that questions about his ethnicity, right? But we'll leave that there. We know the popular music that everybody likes, and the people who copy our music, the people who are influenced by our music, because the world plays our music. Okay, the only thing that's not our music is heavy metal. These racists, these Caucasians, they're the ones that created heavy metal, which is nothing but a bunch of noise. It's nothing but a bunch of noise. Okay. All right. They could have heavy metal. They can have that heavy metal, but the rock and the hard rock that come from Jimi Hendrix. that squealing guitar, that's Jimi Hendrix, right? And you had a lot of haters and whatnot who's trying to do like Jimi Hendrix, because again, Jimi Hendrix is an indigenous so-called Black American. Jimi Hendrix is an indigenous so-called Black American. So all the popular music comes from us. The popular food here in America comes from us, right? Fried chicken, who y'all always making fun of us eating fried chicken, but yet that is one of our American indigenous or first American. That's one of our first American staple foods. That's one of our staple foods. So that's proven that we actually have a culture here. Our culture is American culture. Why? Because we're the only real Americans. When they say America don't have no culture, yes, it do. We the culture of America. Black Americans, so-called Black Americans, are the culture of America. There's no white culture in America. What white culture? What white culture is in America? I'll wait. What white culture is in America? What Native American cultures in America? You know, all the people who claim that they've been here before us. Where's their culture at? I already pointed out, you don't see no Native American culture here. We don't even know what their culture is, but they claim they've been here 25,000 years. Really? Then how come you don't have no cultural influence? And white people claim they brought us from Africa, but where's their cultural influence? And for the people who claim we come from Africa, how come our culture is not like the African culture? Our music don't sound like their music. This guy Shaboozey, he ain't doing no Nigerian music, because what is the Nigerian music? What is their culture? What is the Nigerian culture? You see, what is it? And why ain't he doing Nigerian music? Why is he doing country music? If Nigeria and all them Africans talk that nonsense, we come from them. We don't come from them. We do not. That's a lie. We do not come from no Africans. Okay? We don't come from them. But they love to make up this lie. They love to make this lie up to make it seem like we're nothing but a bunch of mixed race mutt people here in America. We don't have no real culture, but everybody's copying our culture and copying our music and trying to erase us in the process. Remember when Fat Joe jumped out there, aka Fat Ho, jumped out there and started talking about hip hop is 50-50 Latino and Black. Right. Yet they don't have no 50% of Latino artists to match our artists. How you going to be 50-50 anything and you don't have enough artists to even make that claim? You don't have enough artists. Where's your Puerto Rican LL Cool J? Where's your Puerto Rican Run DMC? Where's your Puerto Rican Rakim and Eric B. and Rakim? Where's your Puerto Rican Gang Starr? And I could go on and on. Where's your Puerto Rican Tribe Called Quest? Y'all ain't even got enough artists to claim 50-50 anything. But it didn't stop them from saying that crazy shit. It didn't stop them from making that shit up. They say anything to try and erase us, and people push back. So I give Tariq Nasheed, I'll give him props for making the movie Microphone Check. I will say that was a good job he did. I'll give him the props on that. But I have to say this about concerning him. He as much as because he commented on this, he did commentary on this with the guy Shaboozey. He did commentary on this, and you know, he helps. He talks about delineation and the FBA delineation, but you're not really delineating if you're up here telling a story that we come out of Africa and that we only been here 500 years. So you're making it seem like we some Africans who came over here and got mixed in with indigenous people, and this is how we had some ethnogenesis. That's a lie. And that's what lends to the credence of stuff this clown Shaboozey say, because we saying we first Americans. We was always in America. We ain't not no Africans. We are not Africans. And it's funny how Tariq Nasheed claimed we come from Africa and we had some ethnogenesis, yet he constantly pointing out the differences between us and Africans. So how we come from them, yet we different from them. You calling us African Americans. Where's our culture come from if it don't come from it don't come from the Africans? It don't come from the so-called Native Americans. So you saying it come from the indigenous people here, then you saying we indigenous people. And like I said, that's a lie about the African slave trade is a lie. They did not bring no Africans into America. They brought them into South America and the islands. And that was in sprinkles. They didn't bring them in no North America. That's a lie. Because if they did, they would be able to blend in amongst us. Africans can't blend in with us. Africans cannot blend in with us. They try to blend in. That's why this guy Shaboozey got dreads. Africans don't wear no dreads or no locks. They don't wear that. And his hair's probably weaved in. Dude look like Diddy with a weave, with braid. Don't he look like Diddy? In certain pictures, that's one I got. He look like Diddy with a damn wig on. I was like, damn, Shaboozey, is this Diddy with a wig on? You see? He's sitting up here claiming our music. Yet he comes over here and makes some ridiculous statement about immigrants building America. First and foremost, let me explain. And when we say what immigrants built America, who? What immigrants built America? What immigrants? There was no immigrants here to the 20th century, and the immigrants came here because America was already built up. They came to a place that was already built, and they added on later, but they came to places that was already built up. Nobody came here when there was nothing except our people, meaning we came from South America into North America thousands upon thousands of years ago, and the so-called Native Americans try to take that and try to align it with their story of coming from Siberia, because at one point in time, they didn't even say they came from Siberia. They were saying they was always here. That's a lie. Bold-faced lie. Them people are Asians, man. But this guy gonna talk about Black Americans. Or no, he didn't say, he just said immigrants built this country. I'm like, what immigrants built this country? What immigrants? If he says Ellis Island, them people came later. Them Irish and Italians and all them people that's coming over here through Ellis Island, those people came at the turn of the 20th century. They was coming in here in the 1900s, 1910s, because keep in mind, after all the wars that went down in this country, a lot of white males were dying off out here, and a lot of them wasn't mass producing like that. So their numbers started to get really thin out here. And of course, you had the indigenous so-called Black populations. Our numbers were growing even more because, you know, after slavery, and even during, but after slavery, you would see pictures of our people with 12, 13 children and stuff like that. We was having babies like that. They wasn't having no babies like that. Caucasians, Europeans, so-called white people here in America, they wasn't having no 12 and 13 children. We was doing that. We was populating like crazy, especially during and after slavery. So what did they do? The U.S. government started bringing in the Europeans. They started bringing in more immigrants. And the immigrants came because they said they wanted to come to this new land. They wanted to come to this new land. You don't come to a new land and then talk about you building up the land. They came to something already, something that was already built. They didn't. How do immigrants build up another country? How? You can't immigrate to something that, when you immigrate someplace, you come into a place that already has an infrastructure. They came to a place, they would come and they would talk about, oh, America, land of the free, home of the brave. Remember I told you what that comment really meant, right? The land of the free is where these Europeans and these immigrants came. This became a land of the free where they could come and set up enterprise and do business and whatnot and get away from Europe and wherever they came from. So this became a land of freedom for them because they came from under monarchs and things where there was no democracy. There was no real setup, no government. They came from that. The Spanish, the European Spanish, the European English, they came from monarchies where they were ruled over. They didn't have no say. Pretty much like now in this country, but it masquerades as a republic. But they didn't have no rights there. So they come over here in this country. Most of them came over here because England was emptying out the jails and they sent over a bunch of criminals because they were using America as a penal colony before they start finding out that there was a lot of resources here. So then they started implanting Caucasians here, and a lot of them could not get the land. They couldn't get the land going. They didn't know how to grow on the land because that was the money. The growing on the land, cotton, tobacco, sugar, the stuff that they started taking out of America from the indigenous people, because we was already growing that stuff already. We had sugar. We was already doing the sugar cane. We had vegetables, of course. We had the corn. We had all squash. We had all the vegetables. We had the vegetables. We had the cotton. We had the material. We had the indigo, which is a dye that was used to dye clothing, which was a big cash crop. They needed that in England. A lot of that stuff was imported to England. So they was taking resources out of here, and they was using the indigenous people to grow it. So that became the economy of America. New York Stock Exchange was based on our slave labor, because that's how valuable our people were. You know, the New York Stock Exchange, which trades valuable commodities on the stock market, the first valuable commodity on the stock market was our people, indigenous Black Americans, indigenous so-called Black Americans. We was the people, because why? Because we was doing everything. Now, if we was just a bunch of cotton pickers, why you got us up on the goddamn New York Stock Exchange? Why you trading our people, selling our people on auction blocks in the New York Stock Exchange? Because the New York Stock Exchange was like an auction block as well. Then they started selling cotton and sugar and bacon and meat and all that, because we did all that. We slaughtered the animals. We worked with the animals. We grew the food. We made the clothes, all that. Hell, you know that even jeans came from our people. Jeans came from our people. Denim, which was originally called Negro cloth, came from our people. Our people sold the first pair of jeans that Levi Strauss, who manufactured the Negro cloth, which he ended up calling denim. We the ones that did that, and we dyed it blue with the jeans because we was always working in the field. They called it an inferior form of cotton, but they call it Negro cloth because it was rough. You could work in it, because prior to that, the slaves always had pants that was ripping and tearing from the cotton they was making. They had. So they grew a rougher version of it, and they started making material out of it, and that became your first denim material. So denim jeans came from our people, not from Levi Strauss. That came from our people. All he did was capitalize on it like these Caucasians do. Okay? Yeah, made the suspenders, the overalls. Yeah, our people made a lot of stuff here. We got over 1,000, over 1,500 to 500 to 1,000, more than that patents, and that's when they wouldn't even let us get patents and trademarks. Patents, really. So the economy of America was from the soil. It was from the soil. It was the food. It was the material for cotton. It was sugar. It was tobacco. That was harvested and grown by our people, because you do know that just don't grow out the ground. And if our people was just a bunch of cotton pickers, and these crackers now try to make it sound like, oh, it was just easy to pick cotton. It was easy. Then why was you chasing us down when we wanted to leave the plantation if we was just picking cotton and that was nothing to do? Why was you chasing us down? You don't form slave patrols, which became police forces, to hunt down a bunch of just a bunch of damn cotton pickers. You don't form no damn slave patrols, which became police departments, to hunt down cotton pickers. No, they was doing way more than picking cotton. And even Donald Trump said, oh, Black Americans are not given credit for. They did way more than what they given credit for. Donald Trump said that out of his mouth. The president of the United States said Black people did way more than what they given credit for. And he know the history. He know that our people built the economy of the United States. If it wasn't for Black people, there would be no United States. It would be no United States for this guy, people like Shaboozey, to bring his black ass over from Nigeria and talk that shit. It would be no place for no immigrants. None. There would be no place for them to immigrate to if it wasn't for us. That go for the white ones too. They didn't come here and do shit. But it sit up here and set up a government to steal land from our people. That's all they did. Capitalize on the things we did. The inventions, the damn the getting the land going and whatnot, making building the economy here. We did that. We did that. Ain't nobody else did. Ain't nobody else build America but us. All them people they talking about came immigrants. They came later. Even when this lie that the Asians built the railroad, no, they didn't. We did. They didn't do nothing but build. They built out in California. They built out the remaining tracks, about 900 miles in California. That's all they built. But as far as the train rails and all that, even down to making mechanism for the engines to run, our people had a hand in that, and we was laying the tracks. We laid the tracks. The railroad companies owned slaves. So who the hell you think was doing the labor? Was no white people doing no labor? Why would you get white people to do the labor when you own people, you own slaves? They doing it for free. The whole goal of building the economy here in America was that they had free labor. They didn't have to pay nobody. That's how they was able to make so much money and invest it back into the economy. They didn't have to pay us. We built the economy of America. Black Americans, black indigenous Americans who did not come from Africa. They went and raided our indigenous territories, our tribes. They went and took our land, all of that. And they had a lot of these liberated black females back then helping them, who was heads of tribes, who these Caucasian males would come over here and get with them. And they would have these mulatto children, and the mulattoes, indigenous ones, they would sell off our land. Okay? So this lie that we or that some immigrants built America, dude making that up, man. He talking out of his ass, man. He's making it up. He's a liar. And probably some of his Caucasian handlers told him to say that. You see, this is why you can't help these foreigners, man. You can't help these goddamn immigrants. This is exactly why. And that go for the African ones too. That go for them too. Because they want to replace us. They want to be the African Americans. And you know what I say to that? Let them. Let them. They're the same ones that's sitting up on TikTok when we saying we not, I don't want to use the word delineating, but yeah, I'm going to go ahead and use it, delineating. When we separating ourselves from the whole African thing, when we saying we the ones that's really doing it. We doing it. You know, Tariq Nasheed talking about delineation, but you're not really delineating. And again, it's no shot at Tariq Nasheed. On one hand, I say he did good with the documentary, and he talked about the delineation, but then when you come back with this BS about, you know, we had some ethnogenesis and we was Africans and we came over from, that's a lie. That is a lie. You constantly pointing out the differences between us and Africans, but then you're going to sit up here and talk about, yeah, we only been here 500 years. No, my man, we've been here way more than 5. We always been in America. There was never a time where we were not here. Stop with the horse shit about we came from Africa and there was some ethnogenesis. You helped lend credence to the BS this guy talking about. You can't claim delineation if you saying we African. How you gonna say we delineate from Africans and we a whole ethnogenesis? We another people. You are not. You do not get to change who you are once you move from another place. You're gonna still carry the culture. You don't get to change who you are. You don't get to change who you are. You're gonna still carry the culture. You still from there. I don't care if you came from Africa 1,000 years ago. You still gonna be African. I don't care if you came from Europe 1,000 years ago, you still gonna be European. I don't care if you came from Asia 1,000 years ago or Siberia like these Native Americans, you still Siberian. So miss me with the, we had an ethnogenesis and we a whole different people. We foundational black Americans. First and foremost, we not black skinned people. We don't got no damn black skin. We're not from no Africa. We are those copper-colored races that were described in the 1828 Merriam-Webster Dictionary definition of American, who these Europeans came and found here. But you don't see Tariq Nasheed pointing that out. You don't see none of these pro-blacks pointing that out. Who the hell else was they talking about? And they made descriptions of the Carolina Indians as black people, and they are not African. So what is he talking about? Again, I give him props on one hand for the microphone check, but he don't know no history about our people unless he's just making up stuff, man. We first Americans. That's why I classify myself as, I don't do the black thing. That's why you hear me say so-called black Americans. We as first Americans are the only ones who built up America. We did through slave labor. Nobody brought us from no damn Africa. We was always in America. Okay? Nobody brought us from nowhere. We were always here in this land, and we were building in this land for them. We built the plantations. Our people built the White House. We started the economy here. There was no economy until we started the economy. There was none. These Europeans was over here starving, begging us for food, begging us for land, the fertile land to grow on, asking us to help them. You do know the word nigger. You do know the word nigger comes from the word niggardly, which they like to hide. The word nigger comes from the word niggardly, which is an English word, which means stingy. Okay? Stingy. That's what they was calling our people, stingy people, because we were, like I said, we had all the land. We was growing on all, we had all of the fertile land. Okay, we had all the fertile land. We were growing on the land before they even came here. That's why they wanted to come here, because they seen how we was living. They saw that we had food, we were healthy, we were looking good. Like I said, they seen that we had things going on. So they saw, and then you had some Sambos who invited them in. They disease-ridden asses in. Some of the tribes started trading with them, and as the tribes started trading with them, they started seeing how beautiful America was. Then they decided to start staying here. Next thing you know, they start taking up space. I'm talking about the English, the Spanish, all of them came and did the same thing. We watched them all come here. Even the so-called Native Americans who came in from Siberia, crossed that bridge, came into America. We watched them come here. We watched everybody come here. We are the only real Americans in America. That goes back to who we are as the Mesoamericans. Okay? We don't have no African identity. We don't have no African DNA. There's no African DNA. Again, that's how you can tell the difference between us and them. So when this clown said this nonsense about some immigrants built society, I guess he mean his people, right? But yet they can't build up their own homeland. Make that make sense to me. How you built up America, but they couldn't build up their own homeland? You got all this. You got all of this. They said the immigrants had all these skills and all this, that, and the third. They could build up this whole society. But why did they come here? They didn't come here. They came here because there was already some infrastructure here. When them people was getting off the ships in Ellis Island in New York City, where the Statue of Liberty was, they was coming here for what? Opportunity. What opportunity if there was nothing for them? Again, they was getting up here. They were doing labor work. The Italians, the Irish, and all of them, they weren't even considered white at first. They was brought into whiteness later. So our people built all this through our slave labor. All the early buildings in New York, all the infrastructure and whatnot, all the white man did was hold the whip. That's all he did. He didn't build anything. We built it. The economy, everything. Laid out Benjamin Banneker, exactly. Benjamin Banneker, who was an indigenous so-called Black American, indigenous. Benjamin Banneker was not African. He was an indigenous Black American, first American. He was a first American indigenous. He laid out the architecture and laid out the plans for Washington, D.C. Now, if he was an African, where he learned that from? Because they didn't have our people reading. They like to tell this lie that they taught us skills. They didn't teach us a damn thing. That's a lie. They didn't even want you to read. What skill they going to teach you? They didn't teach us no skills. We was already doing this. We was already building. You see, people, when they think about the American Indians, please don't get the American Indians mixed up with the Native Americans. You see, the American Indians, meaning us, the indigenous people, we built homes. We were building and using brick. We were using wood. We was doing all that stuff, building. We had villages and whatnot where we had homes. We didn't live in no damn teepees like the Native Americans. These people swear up and down they was here for 25,000 years. But you mean to tell me y'all don't know how to build nothing? Y'all was here for 25,000 years and y'all was just living in teepees and huts? Teepees, the only indoor housing y'all got is when they put you on the reservation. When the white man put them on the reservation, they ain't built nothing and they don't even know how to farm. They didn't start farming until later. That's why the government allowed them to own slaves. You ought to wake the hell up and know what the real history is. Wake up and know what the real history is. So when they get Sambos like this, Shaboozey, when they get coons like this, because like I said, they can't wait. A lot of them Africans, they can't wait to come over here and replace us. That's why you see, that's why I told you when we was saying on when I was saying on TikTok, I said we not African, man. We first Americans. We American. We first Americans. All right, we indigenous. When I was saying that, you had a lot of Africans get all pissed off and bent out of shape over the fact that we were saying that we indigenous. Like, I'm like, why do y'all care about us claiming indigenous? They want us to be African with them. You know why? Not for no brotherhood, not for no sisterhood, not for no connection, no diasporic connection. No, because they could come over here like this clown and act like he one of us. You see, he put the dreads on. He got one of all those, because we use names like the Shaboozey and all. We use little slang hip hop names and whatnot. We do stuff like that. We do stuff like that. You see? And then, like I said, Beyonce put him on. And this is what he does in return. Because he was really crapping on our people. He was really crapping on first Americans. He was really crapping on first Americans. The real people, the real first people of this land. The first and only people of this land. He was crapping on us. That's what that was meant to do. And obviously, like I said, because right now you hear, why would somebody like him make a speech like that? You know why? Because they want, it looks good for them to have a so-called black face get out here and crap on and talk about immigrants and how they built this country. Immigrants came here. You can't be an immigrant to someplace and then come someplace and build it up. You come here for opportunity. Immigrants, they never came here to build shit. They came here to take shit. They ain't came here to build nothing. What are you talking about? Immigrants come to take like his tether ass. Like his tether ass. Come here to copy our culture, copy our heritage, get up under Beyonce, an American indigenous woman, a first American woman, and copy off of us. That's what they want us to stay African for, so they can blend in with us until they fade us out. That's why I said that I'm really talking about delineation. Tariq Nasheed just talking. I'm really talking about it. And I'm really about that. Why? That's why we're doing the first American Street and Music Festival. See, we ain't just sitting online talking about it. We being about that. We doing the first American Street and Music Festival. Yes, we are. And we doing it in Atlanta to celebrate for who we are as first Americans of America, not of Africa. We not of no African descent. We need to make it known loud and clear. We are first Americans and we are not of African descent. No, we are not. We are not African. We are not from no damn West Africa. Stop lying. They're lying. Just so they could erase us. So they could blend us in with Africans. Because I told you it was a time where they knew, they would say, here go the Negro slaves over here and the African slaves over here. They knew that the Africans and the Negroes were totally different. And we still totally different. That's why this clown could come up here, this Sambo could come up here and say some off-ass nonsense like that, disrespecting our people. No, we not the same people. And let me tell you something, you Pan-Africanists who take your ass over to Africa to try to find your so-called African roots, that's why they crap on you when you get over there. That's why they scamming you. Y'all niggas over there going to Ghana, going to these different parts of Africa, asking for some Ghanaian citizenship only to get over there and get scammed by them people who don't see you as their people. They don't see you as their people. They know you not them. When the hell y'all gonna wake up? A lot of y'all sitting up, y'all asses over there in Ghana and y'all don't even want to be over there. Because you believe some nonsense that we the same as them. Why? Because we got dark skin? We ain't got the same skin. We ain't got the same hair. We are totally different people. We are the people of America. We didn't come from no place else. Stop this nonsense about what they did. They ain't did a damn thing in America. But sit up here and leech off of us. That's what your Africans did in America. They came over here and leeched off of us. Because it was directives and things in the 60s that allowed them to come over here, things that we fought for. You see? Then they come and bring their ungrateful asses over here and they start trying to crap on us. But you know what? That's fine, because all that says is that we're two totally different people. And we need to start celebrating who we are as first Americans. We need to start celebrating who we are. Cut the African American crap, cut the FBA crap, cut all that nonsense. We need to start celebrating as who we are. First Americans of America. That's it. The bronze people. So I'm shouting this out to my bronze family out here. Dude talking out of his ass, man. He's talking out of his ass. And like I said, probably his Caucasian handlers probably told him, hey, get up here and talk about the immigrants. And, you know, of course, he is Sambo. He going to do it. He going to do it. He going to do what his white masters tell him to do. You see? We first Americans. We are first Americans. You see? And we need to constantly make that known. And like I said, dude is saying that as a way of erasure. Like I said, he's no different. All these immigrants are no different. Fat Joe, who's an immigrant, his people, you can look at Fat Joe, he's Asian. His people are Asiatics. He's Siberian, they Mongoloids. You see? And they have this hatred for indigenous people, for indigenous first American blacks, so-called black people. You see? They have this hatred for first Americans, the indigenous black people here in this country. They have a hatred for us because they like our music. They talk like us. I even heard this white cop sitting up here, white cop who shot the black dude. They sitting up here, the white cop sitting up here talking like us, trying to sound like us. But then you calling us N-words and whatnot, nigga this and nigga, but you talking like us. You see, they love to copy us. They love to copy us, but they hate us because they can't be us. That's really what it is. Shaboozey, he's one of these people, you could tell he's jealous of black Americans, because if he wasn't, why are you sitting up here trying to shit on black Americans and try to shit on our accomplishments here? Talking about, oh, we built whatever we built in bondage. So what? And everybody wasn't in bondage. That's a lie. That's a bold-faced lie. And even if we did it in bondage, we still did it. Regardless, there would be nothing if we didn't do nothing. Of course, they're going to go to the indigenous people, and look to them to do it. The Europeans couldn't do it because every settlement they had in America failed. Every settlement they had in America before 1619 in Virginia, when they added the indigenous, those 20 odd Negroes, which were indigenous Americans, when they added us to the mix, that's when they started. That's when the cotton started getting harvested. They was able to send cotton back to England. They started the cotton plantations. So they was trying to enslave all of the indigenous population. That's where your whole black and white thing came from. They wanted to enslave the indigenous population. So this was immigrants getting together, forming a system and becoming white people, Europeans that were here, your English, your Scottish, your Spanish, right? They got together. Some of your Germans, they got together and they decided to form the United States of America and whatnot. And they started, referring to themselves as white people as a way to create a racial army. They brought the Europeans together to create a racial army to take over this country from the indigenous people, because it was a bunch of tribes. It was hundreds of tribes, black indigenous tribes here in America. Not no Native American, because like Native Americans, they didn't start coming around into America to the 1800s. You didn't start seeing them in North America to the 1800s. They came through Mexico. And that's why you find them on the West Coast. You will not find Native Americans in the East Coast. You will not find them in down south. You won't find them there. You don't find them in the South. You don't find them in the East. They're in the West Coast because they like I said, they were brought into Mexico by the Euro Spanish, and they adopted the culture of the indigenous black people of Mexico, because Mexico was originally a black country, and you still got the black Mexicans there today. You still got black Mexicans there today. You see, you still got the bronze Mexicans there today, the copper-colored bronze Mexicans there today. You still got our people are still in all these places. You see it's more of our people in South and Central America than in North America, because that's where we came from. We came from South America into North America when there was nothing. So we came from one part of America as the Mayans and as the Aztecs thousands of years ago, and we came to North America. When you hear these people that's in Mexico today claiming that they're indigenous and that they the Mayans and the Aztecs, they're lying. That's not them. That's us. We was the ones with the ball games, wearing jewelry and all that. That's our culture. You see, going to stadium games, that's our culture. That's why you see on the Bone and Park temples a bunch of black people, so-called black people, the copper-colored people, first Americans, the indigenous people of this land. That's what you see there. We are first Americans, and they hating on us because of that. That's where the hatred really come from. Because they want to steal our culture, and in stealing our culture, they want to erase us at the same time. They want to erase us at the same time while stealing our culture. And like I said, this is what happens when you give platforms to people like this. Beyonce gave a platform to this Sambo. She gave a platform to this Sambo. She made it to whereas he could have a damn career. They always riding our coattails. They always riding our coattails. Even Afro beats is our music from the 80s and the 90s. Oh, they build off of us all the time. They don't got no foundation. They don't got no popular music. Afro beats come from us. Afro beats come from us. They playing our music. You see, hip hop, all that's our music. They try to blend in with us, and then they turn around and try to crap on us. But that's why I said the real delineation is in standing up as who we are as first American. That's the real delineation, not no FBA, man. Not no FBA, because they could always sneak into the black thing. They could always sneak into the black thing. They could always align themselves with blackness. You can't align yourself with first American. They can't say that. That's one thing they can't say. They can't say they first Americans. We the only ones that can say that and prove it. I don't give a damn what the Native Americans is mad about. They get pissed off because they're also the other ones that show up to my, we ain't, because they immigrants too. Because you do know the Native American, native just means you're born on the land, don't mean you're from the land. Indigenous means you're from the land. We indigenous to America. Black, so-called black people are the only people that's indigenous to America. This is why they call us black people. I told you, black is a term of erasure. When they refer to us as black people, that's really a term of erasure. Because they don't want to say that we American. They don't want to say we the first, we the only real Americans here. They don't want to say that because white people want that title. White people and your Mongoloid Native Americans want that title. So they'll sit up here and try to lie about our history. They're all of a sudden, these so-called Native Americans and these Latinos and these Africans, all of a sudden, they such experts on our history. No, see, y'all came from Africa on slave ships from West Africa. Cap, they lying. They don't know no goddamn, you need to take a DNA test. Our DNA test is here. Again, we ain't linked to them. You ain't never seen, listen, I ain't never seen nobody, unless they go to one of these Ancestry, 23andMe, I have never heard nobody say that they trace their roots back before that crap came up and they started lying and making up stuff, because they tell you Ancestry.com, 23andMe is for entertainment purposes. It's not to be taken seriously. I have never seen nobody say, just a regular black person, oh, I trace my roots back to Africa. That's a lie. 9 times out of 10, if you black American, your family go back to slavery, your grandmother and grandfather say we Indian. We Indians, meaning we indigenous to this land. We didn't come from no place else. When they were saying Indians, they know what they meant. They were saying that we indigenous to this land. We're from here. We didn't come from no place else. That's what your grandparents are telling you. But you're going to go listen to some damn con men, some hustlers, some boule sambos like Henry Louis Gates coming with that 23andMe ancestry, whatever the hell he talking about, because he got a little video show on here, and he always getting up here telling niggas, oh, you know, you from Africa, yo, and you got white in you, you European, and y'all sambos sitting up here believing this shit. You sitting up here believing this. You see? Yeah, Afro beats is trash. All their music is trash without us. They got to copy our music in order for them to get any shine. They got to copy us. Everybody copy us. Everybody. Even the racists copy us. The racists try to talk like us. So that proves we indigenous, because again, if we not indigenous and we come from Africa, then how come we the cultural influence here? Our music, our food is the cultural influence. How is it that the Native Americans have zero cultural influence in their own country that's supposed to be their country? They say they're indigenous to America. Where's their cultural influence at? Where? Where's their music? Where's their names? You don't even know their names. All you hear is a bunch of damn nicknames. The little fox, red bear, running deer. Get the fuck out of here with that. That's a bunch of made-ups. That's a bunch of names. That's a bunch of nicknames. I'm being raw and uncut tonight because this guy Shaboozey, he really pissed me off with that nonsense. I heard the clown say that. I heard this clown say that. And if any so-called black people listening to him, they should stop listening to him. Don't support nothing he talking about. Nothing. He's a goddamn culture vulture. Yeah, you got black culture vultures. You got African culture vultures. Yeah, he's an African culture vulture. That's what he is. He's no different than Vlad. He's no different than Karamio or Howell. And let me tell you something. I said what I said about Karamio or Howell. I did a video where I was calling out Karamio or Howell. Yeah, I did. I'm going to do a second one because I never said that his information was trash because all he's doing is reading out of books. What I said is that he came off like some condescending creep to one of my people, to two of my people. He came off on some condescending shit. That's what I said. And when we told him, one of my people told him about the first American Street Music Festival, he tried to shit on it. And he didn't want to, like I said, so that's the only thing I had with him. Because if you was really about, because all you do is make your money off of talking about our heritage and culture. And now I'm starting to hear that he's sitting up here talking about, he's starting to include the Latinos in with this us and we shit. What us and we? One minute you saying that the indigenous people is black, so-called black people, black Americans. Then now you trying to add yourself in. You ain't black American. You trying to add yourself in. And your people. Because that's what they do. He make money off of our people. Then he want to try to take our culture and add himself in. Dude is a conquistador. He's more European than anything. But that's fine. Like I said, I didn't never tell nobody to stop listening to him. I said I don't listen to him no more because of that. Because I could get up here. Anybody can sit up here and read out of a damn book. What's so mind blowing? Like you Sambos came in my comment section talking about why are you talking about Kareemio like that, brother? Is you jealous of Kareemio? I don't care. I don't even watch his shit. Like I said, I told you the only issue I have with him is how he tried to disrespect the sister in our community and the brother in our community. And he tried to disrespect our festival. That's the only issue I have with him. So you slow pokes need to go back and listen. I ain't say nothing about what he bringing out because like I said, he really ain't bringing out nothing. As far as I'm concerned, Mike TV's at the top. Dane's up there too. Dude, I don't even mess with because he sit up there and read out the books for about 2 hours. Ain't nobody sitting there and listening for 2 hours. This dude reading out of a book with his boring ass monotone voice. That's all I said. You see? Nobody sitting up here. Y'all sit up here. These Sambos getting mad because I said something about the dude Kareemio and whatnot and how he condescend to the very people who he making money off talking about our history. Reading out of books. But anyway, yeah, man, that Sambo, and there's no immigrants built America. America was built, the foundation, for lack of a better word, Tariq Nasheed, the foundation of the United States of America was built by indigenous black Americans, first Americans, so-called black Americans. And we were already here when the Europeans came here as indigenous tribes. We were already here. They kidnapped our people. They came and took over our villages and laid the plantation down and over our villages. A lot of these plantations you see all over America are old indigenous, old Indian territory. All of this farmland is original Indian territory. So that means our people were growing it, wasn't the Native Americans. Because every time you see the Native Americans, they was living in teepees. They wasn't farming on no land. They was living like nomads. And they was in the West Coast. Because they try to tell that lie that we indigenous because we mixed in with them. That's a lie. Who were the Carolina Indians who they were talking about in the 1500s? Who were the Yamasee and all them other indigenous tribes in the 1500s to 1400s who was all out here all over America? There was no Native Americans here. There was no Native Americans here. You didn't start hearing about and seeing them till the 1800s. They was not here no 15. I'll challenge anybody to present a picture of a Native American from the 1500s. You can't do it. I challenge anybody to present a picture of the Native American. I'm talking about the Mongoloid, Asiatic looking Native American. Present a picture of them from the 1500s. But we can present plenty of pictures of the indigenous first American so-called black people here. We can show plenty of that and read the passages giving the description of these people. We can do that all day. So that proves who the indigenous people are and who they really enslaved. Because why would you bring a whole bunch of people who you call savages over from Africa and you're going to bring them over here to do what? To pick cotton? To do what? To pick cotton? Why would you bring a bunch of people over here who you call savages? What good would African slaves have done in America? What good would they be? First of all, they don't know the language. Second of all, they couldn't even build up their own homeland. So why would you bring them here to work? They couldn't even build up their own homeland. They wanted the indigenous black people to be slaves because they seen how we was living. They seen how we was growing food, living in homes. They seen how we was living. They came and raided villages, Whole villages, men go out and hunt, go out and getting buffalo and all that. We the ones that started up the barbecue. We did the barbecue. Barbecue came from the indigenous people, the black Americans. They didn't come from no Native Americans. We was barbecuing. Man, y'all need to wake up, man. Like I said, these so-called Africans, these ones that's coming over here, they not our people, man. They not our friends, man. They here to replace us, man. They can't make shit work in their own country. And stop telling me about the Nigerians and all these people coming over here and they doing so much better. How they doing much better when they can't do shit in their own country? They can't do nothing in their own country, but they want to come over here, and because some of them will go and be doctors and things like that. They acting like they doing more than we doing. We got black American doctors, a whole lot of them. That ain't no flex. We got doctors, we got lawyers, we got everything amongst our people. We've been becoming doctors and lawyers and pioneering medical experiments and things like that. We were pioneering medical treatments and things like that. All the stuff our people that's trademarked. I mean, that's not copyrighted, but patented things that we done did in the medical field. You see, things that we done did in the medical field. What? You see, things that we had patents for. We did nothing but bring to this country. Nothing but bring to it. Add to this. The medical field, everything. Electricity, every technology, everything our people produced here in this country. Our people produced a lot in this country. Way more than the Native Americans. I'm going to even say way more than the Caucasians, to be honest. All they did was put up a system. They structured and put up a system, but they used our labor to do it. They used our inventions and our technology, medical technologies and medical advancements came from us. Who did the first open heart surgery? Who did the blood transfusion? Who did the blood plasma? All that come from our people. Who the one that made the serum to give to these people who had leprosy, which is not even our disease. That's a disease of white people and East Indians. We a system made the thing that the syringe she broke it down into a liquid base to inject into the people who had leprosy, and that saved a lot of people because they was dying from that. A lot of our people did a lot of stuff here, and they were treated harshly and treated badly because of the hatred and the jealousy of these racist ass Caucasians. They was hating on our people as the immigrants they are. Yeah, Dr. Charles Drew, Dr. William Daniel McHale. What's the other guy? What's the guy's name? The guy something the Lord made. It's a bunch of doctors, man. I'm only naming a few. What's the guy who did the blue baby test, the one with the blue baby, the blue vein, the test? What's the guy's name? Most Def played that guy. What's that guy's name? Dr. Charles Drew. You had Dr. William McHale. Dr. William McHale. You had a lot of doctors. I'm gonna put together a book bringing up black doctors who did pioneering things in the medical field. You see, our people were always involved. Well, we the first ones who were doing medicine here. There was no doctors here. When people got sick, they went to the slaves. Read up on a guy named Dr. Caesar, a so-called black man, black indigenous American man who was putting together roots. He was like the Dr. Savior of his time. And he was curing all these white people. They didn't go to the doctor. They went to what they called the witch doctor. Those were black American people who knew how to put together roots and things like that. That's the term root workers and whatnot. They knew how to put together herbs and roots and whatnot. And they was curing a lot of these sicknesses and ailments of these Caucasians. You see, look up at Dr. Caesar. They let him out of slavery. They was giving him all it because they wanted him to just treat them. They wanted them to treat them. So we always had our hands in the development of things here in this country. Always. We the ones that built the economy here. There was no economy until our people started doing the plantations, working the fields, and growing cotton and harvesting it. Because cotton just don't grow. You got to know how to grow and harvest it. You got to know when to plant the seeds. You got to know how to do all of that. Tobacco just don't grow. You got to know how to grow it. You can mess up crops. Indigo, all of that, the dye clothes, all that come from our people. Jean, denim, all that. But they got the nerve talking we was running around naked somewhere. We wasn't running around no naked. We was the one harvesting and growing cotton and making clothes out of it before they did. Anyway, I'm about to wrap this up. Go support the First American Street and Music Festival. We doing it this year in May 16th and May 17th. The First American Street and Music Festival, celebrating our American indigenous heritage, celebrating who we are as First Americans. So support the First American Street Music Festival. Go to FASMFest.com. Go to our page, FASMFest.com. FASM, FASMFest.com. Go to FASMFest.com. Go to our page. Support the First American Street Music Festival. This is why it's important to have festivals like this. This is exactly why. We need a festival that separates us from everybody else. And that's going to be the First American Street Music Festival. We need our own festival as First Americans of America. My name, Benjamin Manhattan. Benjamin Manhattan is an American name. It's a first American name. Benjamin Manhattan. If you listen to the word Manhattan, Manhattan is an indigenous word. That's an American word. That's an American word, Manhattan. You see? So, and it came from an indigenous man, myself. So it's an American name. We got our own American names. In our community, we got our own American names. You see, we're not sitting around here using white people names, Caucasian names. We ain't sharing no names with them. We damn sure ain't using no African or no Islamic or Arabic names. We got our own names. I am Benjamin Manhattan. How you doing? AKA Buck Manhattan. You see? We got our own. So support the First American Street Music Festival. We're going to be out there. It's going to be live music. We're going to be playing all music. Everything, all music. We're going to be playing our live music. We're going to have a live band there. We're going to have trail rides there. We're going to have vendors there. We're going to be selling our feathered head crowns. The feathered head crowns we wear is the ones that go up in the air. We don't wear the feathered head crowns like the Native Americans. We don't wear the feathered head crowns like the Native Americans. We wear the feathered head crowns that go up in the air. We're going to be wearing our feathered head crowns, the good ones. So those are going to be sold. We're going to be having a lot of merchandise out there. Unlimited Epics is going to be there. My comic book company, so-called Epic Book Company, is going to be there. We're going to have our tables up selling our American heroes, the next American heroes, the superheroes and sheroes. All that's going to be out there. My company, Lord Manhattan, next level of upscale leisure wear. We're going to be out there, Lord Manhattan. All that's going to be out. We're going to have all this going on in May 16th and 17th. We honoring us. It's time to honor us as First Americans of America. Because I used to go to the African Street Festival. I got the idea for this back in New York when I was in New York when I was going to the African Street Festival, and we would go there every year. Me and a couple of our brothers, we would go there and we would set up the Unlimited Epics table, and we make a good bit of money out there. For the days we was out there, we were selling Unlimited Epics. We was the only ones selling so-called comic books. I like to say epic books. We was the only ones selling epic books out there with American heroes. With American heroes. Us, meaning when I say American, I mean us. I don't like to use the word black heroes. I'm saying American heroes. American heroes and sheroes, us. Okay? With our own storylines, our own characters, our own superheroes and sheroes. Yeah, I started Unlimited Epics. You know? And we doing well with that, and we're going to grow even bigger. We introducing more characters. We about to redo the site, all that. So we pushing for the image of our people to come up. I do all this so that our people, the First Americans, can come forward and claim who we are as First Americans and stop aligning ourselves with these Africans. Stop calling yourself African Americans, because we're not African. We're not. We're not going to be aligning ourselves with those people. So support the First American Street Music Festival. Hit the link, FASM Fest. Donate to it. We need your help. We're raising $24,000. People, you go and see the link. We raising money. Money's coming in. If you want to sponsor, become a sponsor, you want to perform, contact us at the site, phasmfest.com, FASMFEST.com, phasmfest.com. You'll see the link down below. Hit us up if you want to sponsor. You want us, because we're going to be out there 2 days. We're going to be partying, having a good time. This is a family event. We want the babies to come out there, have a good time. We're going to have the bouncy houses out there. My children, we're going to be out there. We're going to have a good time. I'm going to be out there running my mouth. So support that. We're going to have the First American Street Music Festival shirts with our feathered head crown. All that's going to be out there. We're going to do the damn thing, man. We're going to have a good time. I want to bring out break dancers, so-called black break dance. I want to bring out black break dancers from New York City. If y'all listening to me, y'all know any break dancers and guys dancing on the train, we'll fly them out there. We'll fly them out here and put them up in the hotel and whatnot for them to come out and dance. You see, we'll do that because they're going to get, because they're going to get, they're going to be seen. I see a lot of these guys that's on the train, but when I was in New York, I see a lot of these guys. They were very talented, more talented than these people who copying off us, because break dancing come from us. The Latinos try to lie and say it come from them. It do not. It come from us. They copied us just like they copied us with hip hop. And they still ain't really copy us that good. They trying to. Everybody trying to be us, but they can't be the originals. So again, go to phasmfest.com for the First American Street Music Festival. If you are in agreement with what I'm saying of who we are as First Americans, then you need to join the Republic of America, ROA Worldwide. ROA Worldwide. This is for First Americans of America only, meaning our people, the bronze, copper-colored peoples of America. This community is for us because we need our own American community, our own First American community to separate us from everybody else. See, we need to be differentiated from everybody else. See, this is the problem, because somebody like a coon like Shaboozey could come out and he'll talk immigrants this and immigrants that. He's stomping for the immigrant because he's an immigrant. And he don't feel no connection to us because he's Nigerian. He looked down on us so-called black people. But let me tell you something. We American. We American. We are American. First American. Indigenous American. That we're the only real Americans. Simple as that. So if you in agreement with that, go to ROA Worldwide. ROA Worldwide and become a registered member of the Republic of America Worldwide. Go to ROA Worldwide and become a registered member of the Republic of America Worldwide, ROA Worldwide. Become a registered First American in the Republic of America, ROAWorldwide.com. Also, go and subscribe to this channel, share this link, subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up all this, please give me a thumbs up to let me know that y'all like what I'm saying, you like the content. And again, I'm going to do a video on this guy, Kareem. I'm going to do one more video just clarifying that, I'd say I don't rock with dude. Y'all can still watch his content. I'm not hating on nothing he do. I don't care about dude. Like I said, he was just being hella disrespectful, and that's all my video was about. All that condescending shit he was doing. But also check out my other page, the Realist channel. I'm about to drop some uploads on that. Got a lot of good content on that. That's me under the name Buck Manhattan, because that's my nickname, Buck Manhattan, my everyday name, Buck Manhattan. Go check out the Realist channel, right? And check out Sister Enra Benzetta Mentenza. Go check out her American Indigenous channel. Check out the American Indigenous channel. Subscribe. That sister do good work. She's the sister who Kareemio tried to disrespect and condescend to and talk crazy to. You talking about her history and culture, and then you gonna sit up here and try to talk crazy like you gatekeeping our stuff. You see, all you doing is reading out of books, which anybody could do if they could read. But anyway, I'm about to wrap this up. I want to thank you all for listening. I had to get on here and clear this up. I'm going to be on TikTok tomorrow. Catch me on TikTok, Benjamin Manhattan. On TikTok, Ben Manhattan. Check me out, B Manhattan on MENHATTEN. No A, MENHATTEN, Manhattan. I'm the only Manhattan out here. So thank you all for listening. We're going to close out. And I'm in our trust. And I'm in I think, and I'm closing out this message. Well, I want to close. I need to close out with some music. I want to close out with some music. Good night.